Do you love all things spooky, a little haunted, and full of mystical intrigue? Would you like expert insights from a professional psychic medium while connecting with an open-hearted community that gets you? Join the Haunted Road Trip Show Patreon at www.hauntedroadtripshow.com/Patreon and unlock deeper dives into the supernatural, exclusive discussions, and a place to share your own eerie experiences. Plus, patrons get special discounts on classes, behind-the-scenes content, and more to die for. Laughter is guaranteed, even the dead laugh. In paranormal history, it's dying to be heard.
Welcome to the Haunted Road Trip Show, where we bring you powerful conversations, insights, and exciting site investigations that reveal the paranormal world in a way you've never seen before. Prepare to have your thirst for curiosity satisfied.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Haunted Road Trip Show. Yes, all right. Today, folks, we have somebody that I'm really excited to have here for just multiple purposes. She is an intuitive soul and Nordic hag, which I probably pronounced that wrong, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
She is a witchy woman. She is a spooky woman. She is a brilliant woman. She has been there and done that. And her name is Dorte Johansen. And I am excited to have her. Welcome, Dorte.
Thank you very much, Tracy. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on your show.
No, thank you for taking the time to come on and hang out with my, all my spooky people, as I like to call them, spooky and written people. And speaking of that, tell everybody where you're calling in from. Where are you hollering in from today?
Okay, so I am originally from Denmark in Scandinavia. And I say that as if, people don't know where it is. They might know where it is, but anyway. And I then traveled all over the world, and I ended up in a little country called England. So that's where I'm calling in from today, specifically just south of London. So yeah, a very historic place.
Wow.
And lots going on around here.
Yes, I'm completely jealous. I'll just be honest. Yes, I absolutely adore that part of the world. I got my the bulk of my mediumship and psychic development through Arthur Findlay College of Psychic Sciences, which is just north of London in Stansted. Have you been there?
I haven't been there. I used to live very close by. That was before I knew that the college existed. And then I moved south of the Big Smoke, which is London. And then I started studying.
Wait, did you call London the Big Smoke?
The Big Smoke, yeah.
Is that because...
That's because of all the smoke. It's filthy.
Oh, okay.
What did you think it meant? All right.
Anyway, I was like, I don't know. I thought a lot of people maybe participated in the devil's lettuce or something. Or I was like, is that smog, or is this have to do with recreational activity?
No, it's definitely the smog I was referring to. It's known as that over here. Okay, so London is amazing, and the thing that you see in the movies is just not really real. But anyway, it's
you mean Hollywood would make up something? Don't tell me that. You mean Hollywood wouldn't tell us the truth?
No, obviously it's all the truth. Oh. Yeah, no. But yeah, back to what I was talking about. So I used to live on the north side of London, and not very far from the Arthur Findlay College. Then I moved south, and then I discovered the college, and I started studying there. But because it's now quite far away from me, I did most of my studies online with them. So yeah, but an amazing place. And I've met lots of people who have studied there, because it is one of the most amazing places, I think, to hone your craft.
It is absolutely, for all of those who are interested in spiritual development, they do have classes online, but if you can actually go in person and take classes there, you are in a castle. You are staying in a very old castle that is like Hogwarts, that you live there, you eat there, you sleep there, you play there, you learn there. The grounds are just gorgeous and immaculate, and it's like prime ground for all spookiness of all sorts. And every time I go there, I have some kind of like really spooky encounter with spirits there.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so funny.
Do you
My
know-
my my friend studied there, and she encountered one of the founders.
Ah,
Yes,
wow.
I know. It was, and that was before she actually knew that, like who it was. And it was like, oh, I keep getting this person, like keeps coming up and talking to me. And then she was like, oh, okay, all right, it's one of the founders. I better be nice now. So it is an amazing place. And if you ever come over, Tracy, let me know, and we'll go and explore together. I love that.
Yes, I love making friends in different lands, because you never know when you're gonna go there and you need a little help. Now, I can tell you from this side of the pond's perspective, I have ancient envy for that part of the world. And what that means is that you guys have really cool old castles and houses and villages and things that have like history on them. And, even though in America, I mean, we can get some older stuff, especially in the northeast part of our country, but we've got nothing like y'all do.
Yeah, I know. I went on a road trip a couple of years back across America, and it was really funny because we went to these places. Some of them looked really ancient, and they were actually made to look ancient, and I was really confused. But then you have so many other things that I envy. Can I just say, like the nature at the pure scale of the beautiful nature that you've got is like, I grew up in a country that's flat as a pancake. Can I just say that? So when I first time went to Yosemite, I was in heaven. So yeah. So I guess the envy goes both ways,
It does, but you had mentioned that your sister lives in a very old house, right?
Used to do. Yes, she used to do. It was really funny. They bought this. Okay, so where I grew up, there was a lot of old houses anyway. So a lot of the houses were built around 15th, 16th century. And they ended up buying a little house. It was really lovely in the countryside from 1684. And it was beautiful. They did a lot of work to it. And it definitely had a presence in it as well. So that was really nice. But she was, I call it she. I know technically they don't have a gender, but she was amazing. And what happened was, at first we couldn't really pinpoint what was going on. And then when she had my niece, it kind of became apparent that there was a ghost. And I still recall this moment. We were in the kitchen, which was like one of the like really ancient part where, so the houses back then, often they would like live in one part of the house, and then the other part would be the stable for the animals. Yeah. And so the kitchen was kind of where we believed that the living room or the living accommodation would have been.
Right.
And my niece was kind of crawling around on the ground. She just learned crawling. And then all of a sudden, like one of these cups just starts spinning around like mad. Like one of those plastic cups, they have on to play with, to stack. And my niece was giggling, and then it stopped. And then we looked at it, and then it just started spinning again, and my niece was giggling. So it was clear that, who was there was just having a little bit of a play, with the baby. And my sister was extremely calm about it at the time, and I was a bit more freaked out. I think it was like, oh, okay, so we're just having the ghost kind of babysit at the moment, which is kind of cool. And yeah, so that was, yeah, there you go.
Wow. And so was this before you developed your abilities or after?
Okay. So so the whole thing with my abilities was I had it as a child,
Right.
and then I had some experiences which got me really freaked out. And then I just thought, okay, I don't want any of that. So I closed the door to the spirit world, and I said, just don't come knocking, because I don't welcome you. Okay.
Here we would say, you ain't acting right. I'm not answering that door.
Yeah, exactly. And then it started kind of coming back. And then, I went to stay with my sister and I experienced this and I started becoming curious about it again. So I guess at that point I was ready to kind of open the door again. And I did, not with this specific ghost. I didn't actually connect with her, but I then connected afterwards. Yeah. To the other side. Yes.
Wow. And your sister doesn't live in this home anymore, right?
No, she lives on the other side now.
You mean the other, like,
she's in spirit
world, or okay?
No. She's in spirit now. She's in spirit.
Okay, I was like,
yes. Yeah, no. So she moved out. She moved out of the house, not because of the ghost. The ghost was very lovely, apparently, and never really caused anything, any trouble, more mischief.
Weird to have,
Yeah.
You're gonna have somebody who doesn't pay rent in your house or helps you with the mortgage, and they help you babysit. I mean, that's just polite manners.
Yeah. No, I think genuinely she was actually a very protective ghost, and maybe just causing a bit of mischief here and there, but genuinely, a very, very harmless, and clearly liked them and clearly liked the child. So it was all good. There's no problem. For other reasons, she then moved out. So yes, I don't actually know who lives in that house now, but it was a beautiful house. And I couldn't say the same about the house that was next to her because that was haunted by a not very nice one.
Oh, really?
I had the pleasure of staying in that one. Now, you have to imagine you're like in the countryside, right? There's like no neighbors anywhere near you, You have to go, okay, I do kilometers because I grew up in Scandinavia, so I can't do miles, but yeah, okay, just a couple of whatever you have, between each houses, except where they were, which was in the middle of absolute nowhere. There was their house. And then literally almost right next to, only separated by like a hedge, was another house.
Okay.
And that house was just, it still gives me the creeps when I think about it. It's just not nice. Yeah. And I had the pleasure of staying one night there. Say again?
Do we know what happened in there or around historically? Because it definitely has a murder vibe to me.
Yeah.
It has very violent endings.
And so no one actually knew. My sister said that they didn't know. It was a house that was kind of rented out. It was like a holiday cottage thing, so people would only come and stay very briefly anyway. So the owner clearly didn't want to live in it, but chose to kind of rent it out. And my sister, she would go there every now and again. And I don't think she didn't really like the house either. Like, she didn't feel comfortable there, but she'd have to go and do errands every now and again and just like help out, with the people that were renting it, either give them the key, take the key off them. So she also got to use it free of charge. And then we were all coming over for family celebration, and I was the only one who didn't fit into her house. So I had to go next door to sleep. And that was the worst night of my life.
Oh no. And was this before you kind of understood spirit world or after?
I understood it, but at that point I was still not quite sure what to do with it, like on a practical level. Yeah.
Got it.
So I could feel the presence there, and I was like, oh gosh, okay. And eventually I just told the presence to just kind of just stop. Okay, I'm going to be out of here in the morning. I'm going to be out of here at 6 o'clock. So you just have to give me the rest now. And I think what I promised them flowers, to just kind of, I'll give you flowers, and because my sister was doing these like table decorations of flowers. I said, I'll bring you flowers, because I felt that it was such a cold, dark place. It needed some love, okay? And I couldn't give it in any other way. So I managed to sleep. I had the worst night's sleep ever. I woke up several times. I didn't dare to go to the bathroom during the night, even though I needed it. and it was cold. It was bitterly cold. And the funny thing is, everyone else that came into the house said it's not cold. And it was like, it was freezing, I tell you. So, but, I put some flowers by the door in the morning, and I just never bothered going back in there. So, bye-bye.
Wow. Yeah, that has, folks, that can happen sometimes when you're really sensitive, especially in like hotels, rented homes, all that kind of stuff. Like I've had some interesting long nights in places before where I'm like, oh, jeez.
Have you ever given flowers though?
I have not given them flowers. What I've mostly negotiated with them, but I will keep that in mind for the future, is bride gifts. I've mostly just stated, like, I paid for this space, and this space is intended to be safe and secure.
Yeah.
And that's that. Like, I'm leaving on this day at this time. You can have it back then, but until then, go down the road and bother that guy down there. Or, like, shoo go away, basically.
Yeah.
I've been like, no, I paid for this room.
Yeah.
And
see, I didn't, so I couldn't use that. But because it was free, right? So maybe also that was why. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, hindsight is a magical thing.
I kind of think that we're stepping in on their territory.
Yes.
I mean, unbeknownst to us, but we're stepping in on their territory. So we got to, kind of like they have the negotiation power a little bit.
Yeah, no, and I felt that very firmly in that house. But I must say that is probably the only house ever where I felt that.
Wow.
I've had some lovely encounters in other places. I've also had, how shall I say, like neutral encounters, like, like things that just happen, like.
Do you do that in your practice? Do you do paranormal investigations for people, or are these just kind of like in life events? I randomly ended up here at this house or apartment.
I don't do paranormal investigation, not painful. It seems to happen to me every now and again that, in real life, they just come to me because I guess, channels are open and I can receive, and I'm getting better at it as well, after I did my training, so, and since I've started working with it, it becomes a lot easier, a lot more manageable, but it's that thing of being aware of it initially, because I think as many who are interested in this, if you're an empath or a sensitive person, you know that it's there, but you might not quite know what to do with it.
I found that to be true with a lot of people, that and this is what I teach a lot in my psychic and mediumship development classes, is about systems and structures and learning your mechanics as a psychic medium, because I don't know what they are. I can only give you structure and boundaries to start to work with, but you need to explore and see how that's going to work. Because in every situation, just like Mary Poppins carried her bag, and we don't know what she's going to pull out in every situation, so is us, One situation might need flowers, and another situation might need, no, I paid for this room, get out.
Exactly. No, definitely. And I think it's, once you know that there are tools available, and then it's just finding out what works for you.
It really did. I found that out. I had to get very, very creative with some pestering spirits in New Orleans in my hotel room.
Oh, okay. We want to hear that story.
I think I've told this before, but my recent trip to New Orleans, and of course I booked the hotel, and right away I'm like, everything and anything is haunted in that freaking city. You're not getting away from it.
Yeah.
But when they were showing us back to where our room was at, I was like, this building didn't used to be a part of this hotel. I was like, this used to be like, I'm like picking up on everything. I'm like, this was military and this looks like a hospital part. And like, they're like, yes, here's your room at the bottom. And we walk in and I'm setting things down. And I'm like, this is like more in here.
You were in the morgue.
I was like, it feels like there was a surgeries and morgues and like this. I was like, what is going on here? So, of course, when I saunter up to the front desk, I'm just kind of casual and cool about it. I'm like, so what's the history of this building back here? What's the lore around it? What do people say? Just acting curious. And I was like, is there, military back there? And I was like, yeah, that used to be part of the military installation. And I do believe that it was, a hospital. I haven't done enough research on it to confirm that either. But he was like, oh, yeah, that's exactly. He was like, I think that is exactly where the surgery center in the morgue was. And I was like, ew, great. Which ended up being very interesting that evening. And I just set some very interesting boundaries that evening. I was staying there with a friend of mine, and I ended up getting in his bed because the spirits were just very persistent. But as soon as I sat on a bed with a male, they left me alone.
Oh,
yeah, I wasn't trying to tune in all that much because I was like, I have other things, but it seemed like they would cease the activity when I was sitting next to my male friend, Jason.
Okay.
And then when I was alone or I was trying to sleep in my bed by myself, that's when all the pestering would begin. And I think it had to deal with something with their perspectives about women being alone or single women or, And I wasn't trying to dig deep to figure out because I was just like, no, you need to leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And that apparently was a very popular room. They've never had complaints from that room?
I think that they get complaints around that whole entire, it's New Orleans, right? You go to New Orleans, it's kind of like, I had a ghostly experience. Well, no kidding. I don't say. And even I love New Orleans because when they put listings for apartments, they even have it's a good thing. It's haunted.
It's a bonus. It's a
plus. It's kind of just the Smoke Show, London, right? Everything's probably haunted in there, around there. The city's been burnt down and rebuilt how many times?
Yeah.
So, there's a lot going on, but what I really want to know is I get fascinated, especially with practitioners, about what pushed you kind of into going all right, I can really do this and I want to deep dive into my abilities in spirit world. And then how did you get into being Nordic? That's a part of your heritage, I assume, right?
Yes. Okay. All right. So the Nordic part is easy because I was born there. Okay. And I'm basically using a combination of my psychic abilities together with kind of my Nordic heritage, and some of the, how shall I say, some of the philosophies, I guess, around life there. Not that it's as, doesn't mean that you have to live there in order to apply these in your life, but they're general things that I think are useful for a lot of people. And let me just clarify. So it says down here, it says Nordic Hygge coach. Okay. Now the Hygge is, let me just explain what that is. It's been very popular the last couple of years, but I don't expect everyone to know what it is. But it's kind of when some translate it as being cozy and content. And I don't think it's that. I think it's much more than that. It's kind of when you can see the world and communicate to the world from your heart. Okay, so you're very open. Okay. The opposite of that in Danish is uhygge, and that is the spooky bit. So the two are linked because I came and I think I had a childhood where I had a lot of visits from spirits and ghosts. Okay, and that there was definitely no hygge. It was only uhygge. It was only spooky. Okay, and I was constantly quite scared. But I think not all of them were there to scare me, but it was just then we moved house, and then the next thing, all these things happen, things start falling off shelves and things like that. And I start asking who lived in this house before. Oh yeah, so and so, he died of a heart attack, in this room. It was like, okay, so no wonder everything is kind of falling off the shelf, but it only seemed to happen whenever I was around. So thank you very much. And we had a dog, I remember at the time, so I would literally just sit in the living room, and I would have like hairs on my left arm would just kind of stand up, and the next thing the dog just starts growling like into space, and because he was very protective of me. So there was a lot going on. So I thought, okay, all right, so this is where I chose to kind of close the door, because I couldn't quite handle it, at the age of 11, 12 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was strange things, like the window would open in my room, or I would come into my room and things had moved around in my room, and my mum swears it wasn't her, because she would not dare to go in there. What mum would dare to go into their teenage daughter's room anyway? So there was lots of crazy things going on. So I turned my back on that, and I went off and I had a more sensible career. I don't know if it was sensible. I was like a dancer and a performer and all those kind of things. And I traveled the world, and wherever I would travel, I would try and I would talk about this hygge thing, and people were really like, oh, what is this about? And then I started coaching that to people as a way to bring more calm and confidence into their life. And then as the more I did of that, and the more I seemed to kind of find myself, all of a sudden it was like the spirit world came knocking again, going like, can we come in now? It's safe. Is it safe to come back in? And I decided, okay, all right, well, let's just see, because it was like there was constantly messages for me. They were constantly kind of coming to me, and they weren't being mean or anything like that. And I think with life experience and everything else, I brought them back in, and they have helped me extremely, also with the other aspect. Yes.
Wow. So it's more of a way of being. Like, it's a mindset, and it's a body. I guess it's a body set, right? Like,
yes. Yeah. So I mean, for some people, the whole hygge thing is just like, oh, you just need candles, and you need rugs, and you need like all of that. And I honestly believe that it's more than that. It's kind of like having a sanctuary. It's like building a sanctuary in yourself, and if you feel confident and calm in yourself, then you're also more likely to be able to activate your intuitive gifts, Then you can start, inviting others into your sanctuary, whether they are actually real alive people, which is quite nice, or whether you want to communicate with spirit, you can do that as well. So it's just a different way into it, really.
It is. It always comes down to the set and the setting.
Yes. Definitely. Yeah.
Wow. And so a lot of people over here in America in the spirituality are really into that Nordic shamanism and ruins and everything Nordic. Like, I mean, Vikings was a huge series hit over here, a few years ago.
Yeah.
And people just went goo goo gaga over that.
Yeah. Okay.
Which it was an interesting series. It's not very historically accurate, but it was a great series. But my question is, what would you want to tell people who either study Nordic traditions or haven't, that maybe they don't know, like something that's kind of a little bit not talked about all the time, like here's a secret, or here's something maybe you can work with?
You know what? It's funny because so there's many different aspects to this. Okay, so I'll start by saying, like, the Vikings were very, very misunderstood, I think, first of all, because a lot of people think that they were like just out and plundering and constantly fighting, and they were really farmers. Most of them were farmers or tradespeople, and they were trying to make a living in an environment that was extremely harsh. yes, we have got electricity now in Scandinavia. So, we got the mod cons. Back then they didn't. But if you grow up, and can I just say, I have clients from all over the world. So, and I know a lot of my clients from Canada and that part of the world, they will say, well, it's more or less the same climate and environment, because it's dark for large amounts of the year, and then all of a sudden we get the sun, and we get the Nordic lights that remind us that there is more to life, than when we walk around in our own little bubble.
Right.
So this is not, I think, for many, it's not a geographical thing. I think it is definitely a mindset. It's something that we can apply. But I believe that what the Vikings were really, really good at, and what we can use in modern times as well, is to kind of have this sense of creating their own sanctuary, and then having a very strong community as well. So it was always like, you have to be yourself, and you have to be your best self. They had very strict rules about, like how you had to behave. You had to be your best self, and then you had to kind of serve the community. And I think in that order it has to be, because as we all know, you can't give to others unless you have kind of nourished yourself first. And if you look at a lot of ancient traditions, that is the same. It's the same thing. A lot of it is the same thing. And I believe our ancestors, and it doesn't really matter almost where in the world, they all knew the same thing. They knew that it came down to the basics of being connected, not only with yourself and with your community, but also connected with nature. And that is a very, very important part of what I do as well, is like with nature and with the energies that you surround yourself.
Oh yeah. And I firmly believe that, well, Hollywood's great for storytelling and all that kind of stuff, but historical accuracy, they are not on there. But I always looked, whenever I read about Nordic traditions, and especially the Vikings, I'm like, I don't think they were plotting and wanting to, rummage and plumage constantly. I think that they really just wanted to expand and take care of their community.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of adore about them. And I'm really hoping that us as a global community go back to, in parts of the world that need to take care of everybody as a community, as one. And I think that that's something parts of the world have lost.
Definitely.
Knowing that we're a community, and we can help each other out, and we're all here for each other. And,
they had these, they had so many beautiful traditions. I don't even know where to start. Obviously a Viking woman was allowed to legally divorce her husband. Did you know that? Yeah. One of the legal.
They featured that in the Vikings show.
Oh, they did. Okay. All right.
That and going, is that historically?
That is historically correct. Everything from if he wasn't providing well to if his beard was not kept very nicely, that was another reason. Okay. They had slaves. Okay. They had people working for them. But they could go on to become a normal member of the society if they gave them their freedom, or B, if they had worked long enough to kind of work that price off. It sounds horrible, but those were the days. And many of those actually went on to become normal members of the community. And then obviously they had the very important part, around, and I always bring this up, around Christmas. So in Denmark, obviously Christmas is still known as Jul. Okay, and that was the Nordic, that was the 12 days of Christmas. And that's still known as Jul. And what they did was they brought the community into their longhouses, because they weren't sure, some of the weaker members of the community could have died. They could have died either because they didn't have enough firewood, or they didn't have enough food. So they brought everyone together, and they had a jolly good, can I use the word piss up? I don't know. They had a very good drinking party. and they celebrate it. Okay, but obviously one of the main reasons they did it was to make sure that everyone was together and everyone was safe, and then they would celebrate the darkest day of the year and the returning of the light, and then hopefully after that you need a jolly good sleep anyway, because you need to sleep off the hangover, and then you can start looking forward to spring. So I mean, what a beautiful tradition is that.
I absolutely adore that, where, you make sure that all are taken care of, not just a few, but everybody is tended to and taken care of.
Yeah.
And I love to see those long houses and there are still some Viking ruins that are around that I know that you can go and visit, and especially replicas of. But do you read the ruins as well? Do you use that in your practice?
I'm dabbling in it, but you see, I grew up in a society where we learned, you have to, when you go to school, when I went to school, you learn the basic runes as a writing system. Like it was on the back of my school book, right? So this means this means that. So I've very much grown up in the tradition that this is a language. Okay, it's not giving it like something.
It's not like an oracle card.
No, it's not like an oracle card reading.
Right.
But then, having said that, there's so much poetry in the ruins that I am dabbling in that. But what is really interesting, what I've came across, because I've written a book. It's not out yet, but I've written a book about hygge, and for my research of that, I was kind of looking at where the traditions lie in this, and it goes back to the Vikings, okay, and it goes back to like the language that they would use, okay, and it would have different meanings. It would have meanings like soul and seeing. And that makes you start thinking, like, is there a deeper meaning in this, And in modern society, in Denmark, if you stop any Dane, and you go like talk about hygge, they'll start telling you that it's probably something about, like I said before, it's fluffy socks and candles and hot chocolate and all of that. And it's very nice, okay? But for the Vikings, it was more than that. It was a very soulful thing. It was something about seeing the world with other means than your eyes.
Okay, so a hygge is kind of like our, the modern day like psychics, the seers,
not necessarily. Not necessarily. So the seers were the volves or vulva in the Nordic tradition, which were the seers were the witches that didn't have any eyes, which is really interesting. So if you look at Nordic traditions, you have oh gosh, okay. How long have you got, Tracy? This is going to take a long time. Short version. Okay, short version. In Nordic mythology, it's believed that all of the universe is an ancient oak tree.
Okay.
And humans live on one, and the gods live higher up, like a higher branch. Yeah. Okay. Lower branches is for like the meanies. Yeah. Oh. At the bottom of this oak tree, near the roots, are the wise women. Are the three wise women that can foretell the future, but they can only foretell the future if they take their eyes out. How was that?
Wow.
So it's kind of seeing the world not with your eyes, but seeing through your mind's eye or your body or however you want to translate it.
Wow. Yeah. Because you do, you get that tradition of the tree around in many different cultures throughout the world in different types of symbolism. And the three women, the fates, the three fates, the so-called three wise men, which were really magicians.
They were probably magicians, or maybe they were even women dressed up as men. I think they were women dressed.
Anyway. They could have been all kinds of things. All kinds of things got twisted through history.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a lot of heritage from that part of the world, and I just get deep dive into it, especially when it comes to Viking and Nordic history on that. And that is just absolutely fascinating about that. So I have a question for you. Okay, you want to play a game?
Go on then.
Okay.
I like games.
You said you had a website, so let's play a game. It's called Book It, or are we gonna book it out of there, girl? Okay. So this is what we're gonna do. Let's set the scene. Okay. We're gonna go to my favorite Instagram account called Cheap Old Houses, right? Because those are the best.
Yeah.
We're gonna view a few listings through it. We're gonna plumage through them. And then we're gonna decide. Are we going to book it there for the evening, or are we going to book it the hell out of there, girl?
I love it. Okay, let's give it a go.
So let's do this through the magic of screen share.
Through the magic of screen share. I like.
Through the magic of screen share. Da, 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 da. All right. My computer might be taking just a moment.
See, I love old houses. Like, if it's not more than 200 years old, then why live there? Because it might still smell of paint.
Exactly. Exactly. On there. So we are going to do this. And then we're going to pop in over here. All right. You see this listing?
Yeah.
All right. So, can you see it all right, or do I have to adjust it?
Yeah, I can see it right.
Okay, good. Okay.
The screen. Yeah.
Okay. For those of you out there, we are in Elkhart, Indiana. $45,000.
That's really cheap, isn't it?
That's why we're at Cheap Old Houses on Instagram.
Okay.
The listing says, attention handy homeowners, which is always a whistle for you better be handy in this. Great property for your next fixer-upper to live in home. Needs some work. Well, let's see if they... All right. And the gold is in the comments, everybody.
Okay.
The truth is always in the comments. All right. So we've got, it looks like a 2-story white wooden home. It looks like it was built in the late 1800s. Cute little tan door, front windows, white picket fence, vines everywhere, a little messy.
Yeah.
I'm willing to go in.
Yeah, me too. There's something about the top half that looks a bit weird. Is that?
Yeah.
That's just me.
It feels like almost like this was like 2 houses or something, because I feel like I want to hide things in the back, or the back doesn't want to be talked about. So let's see. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. So
You don't. Brown is not your favorite color, then.
no, if brown is not your favorite color, then this house is not for you. And they have like Pepto-Bismol color ceilings, apparently.
Wow. Yes. Okay. Right.
It's a bit messy, but this staircase is a cute little cascading 2-tier staircase. I can see that it's had a lot of families in it for long periods of time. Like I would imagine families lived here for at least 30 years or so through here. But I get very I wonder if somebody was very sick in here at some point.
Yeah, there's lots of banisters on there, and there was talking about feng shui, that was not a good room for feng shui. Anyway.
No. But we have the next room, which has one of my favorite features in houses, which is the
sliding door.
The pocket doors.
Yes, sliding doors. Hide in the walls. Yes.
Yes, I absolutely love this large, it could be office or seating area, but To be honest with you, somebody needs to take down this wallpaper and clean this up, because it just, all I keep hearing in my mind is like seeing like an older woman saying like, this is a filthy mess in here.
Yes.
Get it?
But I like the French door on the right hand side. That will let in lots of daylight. If there's a window behind there, I don't know.
Well, maybe they'll show us the other side. Okay. I also get a bit of that's an interesting light pole. Somebody tied a hanger to a rope and then tied it to the fan to pull it to turn it on. Only in America.
That's a way to, I don't know, is that a way to commit suicide? I don't know.
No, they have it there so they can turn on and off the fan.
Oh, sorry. Okay. That's just me thinking all sorts of things. Okay. All right. Yes.
Yes.
It'd be fun when that starts swinging round.
Oh, I know. Oh, that would be hilarious. They turn the fan on to get cool, and they get smacked in the head with a hanger. Oh my gosh. And I feel like this house is lonely, like screams for somebody to come in and redecorate it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, anybody who's really interested in it, this isn't as dilapidated as I once thought it was going to be when I first went in. But this definitely is a home for family and for children and for playful activities. I do think you're going to get a couple of spirits that are going to come with your purchase of your house. But we shall see. Let's go to another room. Oh dear.
Oh dear. Yes.
But
bit of old English pub meets haunted castle.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is a tiny room. Looks almost oval, like rounded, but with a fireplace on one edge, and on the other we have a lot of built-in cabinets, which I love. Love built-in cabinetry.
Yes. What's that thing in the middle? Is that a window or a mirror?
That would be a broken window covered by plywood.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's really low down. I like that.
Yes, maybe squatters or somebody tried to enter and didn't want to take time to use the door. But it just screams, please love me in here.
Yeah. Got
See,
they got blue ceiling. Wow.
Yes, they go from pink to blue. This screams like, I need love, I need care in here. If you buy this house, you will get some extra guests in here, but I don't feel like you're going to have much problems from them. I think that they actually want you to upkeep the house. There's that room with the hanger.
Yeah.
Fan on the another view of it. That would be a great room to do readings or a seance in. So
definitely.
Dorte, are we going to book it for the evening here?
Yeah.
Are we going to? Oh, we are. Okay, we're gonna.
Yeah, let's book it. I'm up for it. I genuinely get a good vibe, but like you say, it just needs. It needs a lot of love. It needs lots of flowers.
It does. It needs lots of flowers and lots of lights. And I would love to go in there and have a little investigation to see exactly what the spirits wanted to talk to the new homeowners and let them know. Because there's nothing like what I call them normies. A normie coming into a place and then surprise, surprise. I really want to know how to interact with your roommate. If you're in the spirit world, do you like flowers, chocolate, tea? What do we need here, right? Okay, you want to see another house? You want to do another one?
Let's do another one quick.
Okay. All right. Can you see this one now?
Yes.
I love it. I knew you'd love it. Okay.
Do you know what this reminds me of?
What?
Oh, what's that film? It's with the two sisters that are witches. I can't remember.
Practical Magic.
Yes.
I was just watching some TikToks about that. Did you know that house in Practical Magic was not a house? It was a set house.
A what?
A set house. They built.
Okay.
It was just a frame.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But this is it. This is what they built it on. This is
We are in Chanute, Kansas, folks. 105,000.
Makes me think I need to move to the US because this is like good.
Well, I mean, we definitely have some interesting houses here. It says huge Victorian home, 3,100 square feet, 3 floors. And let's see. Ooh, it comes with a garage and an above ground pool. Okay. This would be great for a bed and breakfast type. Yada, yada, yada. We are on Cheap Old Homes. All right. I'm dying to go in because I love this oak tree that kind of guards.
Yes. Me too. So what you need some rosemary at the front here.
Yes.
Just to kind of also just kind of evil, like ward off any evil spirits, and then we're going to walk straight in.
Yes. I have sage bushes all in my driveway and everything. Yes.
Oh,
I
nice.
love it. Yes. So for those of you out there that are listening, we have got a gorgeous 2-story that's very, can be a reminder of the practical magic house. It's got those towers to it, lots of balconies, large porches to be able to walk in on. All right, let's see if they're gonna. Oh, I skipped a frame. Okay, that's from the. Yes, we do need some loving in that yard.
We do.
I mean, the boogeyman could live in that bush. That's how big it is.
Seen from this side, it doesn't look very nice at all, actually. It's really funny, isn't it? From here, it gives me the creeps a tiny bit.
Yeah, from here, it gives me like, is Michael Myers up on the second floor? Like, Okay, so if you like brown staircases, this is the house for you.
Yes.
So, but what I love is that little seating nook area.
I do like that, yes. Yeah.
I find that very elegant with a coat closet under the staircase, which you could make that a trance mediumship room where you could sit in there and you could channel. That's
you know what?
Goodness.
In the UK, we turn it into a bathroom and you could do the same thing. But anyway.
Two uses, just put the toilet seat down and sit on it and use the mirror.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. I like it. Let's go on.
I do like this. I like the chandelier. So we've got the 2-tier cascading staircase, all wood. Oops, I think I split one. Nope, I didn't. Okay. And of course, more mantles and fireplaces. With whoever took the photo is in the photo.
Yeah.
Yes, but we have the sliding pocket doors again. And we have wallpaper that looks like it's being held together barely by pieces of tape, so you're going to have to redo that.
Yeah, what a shame. Such a pretty pattern. But anyway, yes, we definitely need to redo.
Yes. Okay, more fireplaces. And I love it. I love that effect of this house has doors within houses. So you don't normally see a door that opens up into like a sitting room or a salon. They seem to have doors that do that here. This seems like a prim and proper woman lived here for a very long time. Like, I would love to do the research because I feel like I'm in a doctor's house, like a physician's house.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And look at that door. It's got like a little glass thing in it. Yes.
Yes.
And if you look at the floor, there's like wood, but there's like a separation, like between kind of where the door opens up as a little pathway, and then it's like separate kind of area. I don't know. It's really intriguing.
It does. It feels very professional here. Like somebody was a professional in here at one point in time, especially. Look at that woodworking on there. I mean, that just screams like old school masonry work. That took a lot of time and a lot of effort. Here, we're in another room with yet another fireplace. Super, super tiny. So the one thing about this house is you will be warm.
Yes.
You will be warm if you need it. It looks like a rounded reading room in here, but the wallpaper is just ghastly.
Yeah.
I must say, I don't know what this pattern is or what is going on.
I noticed there's a different pattern in every room, but it's fine. That's easy solved, and I think house spirit will be happy for you to change that. I don't think there'll be any.
Yes, more wallpaper and carpet.
Yeah.
But you guys, the ceiling has a patterned of I don't know what to call that up there.
It's like beams, isn't it?
Yeah, beams are going back and forth everywhere with a very large wooden pattern on top of the ceiling.
Yeah.
This, okay, now that is, if you really stretched your mind for the practical magic kitchen.
This works.
It works just a tiny, tiny bit.
It works for me. I think it's amazing.
It needs some sprucing up, but it could definitely work. All of these cabinets and shelves and the colors in them. It could work for midnight margaritas if indeed that's your thing, folks. Yes. Oh dear. I can't tell if somebody took the picture and was kind of twisted or there's more doors within the houses. Within this house that makes me feel like this used to be some kind of professional house or maybe an office space for something.
Yeah.
But I do get quite dizzy and nauseous in here, so there is something to do with healthcare in this house. I can't shake that feeling of professionalism. Oh dear.
Shabby chic, we call this in English. So.
What?
Shabby chic.
Yeah, but look at, I mean, that's a huge stain on those floors.
I know.
What is that?
What did they sacrifice there, you wonder?
Yes, like I was like, is this a garage or the preparation room? What's going on here? This seems
could be either.
It could be. All right, Dorte. Are we booking it?
I'll say book it. Book it. Let's book it.
You want to book it because at least I could say I kind of sort of stayed in a house that was very similar to Practical Magic.
Yeah, exactly. And either way, I think we're going to have a great party in there because there's some good rooms for partying in.
I think so as well. And I absolutely adore houses. So that is what I do in my free time is I go down rabbit holes on cheap old houses.
I love it.
And then I look to see, I'm like, well, who's in there spiritually and what's going on and who was there and what?
Just a second. Yeah. Okay. I have to finish off, Tracy. Sorry. Because I've realized it's almost 4:10.
Oh, it's 4 o'clock. Oh, goodness. And you got to go pick up your kid. All right. Well, everybody, if you want to get in contact with Dorte, please do. She does do readings and she is available for conversations. So get a hold of her, folks. And this is the end of this episode of Haunted Road Trip Show. But tune in, guys. We got more coming for you. So stay curious, stay cool. Stay safe out there. Talk to y'all soon. All right.
This episode of the Haunted Road Trip Show is brought to you by Studio One Vasie Pilates. To claim your free gift now, check the show notes.
Remember to visit our website at hauntedroadtripsshow.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. We look forward to seeing you next time. And remember, paranormal history is dying to be heard.